us. So we are a platform provider. We make marketing platforms for game developers, studios, indies, and publishers. We have a bunch of different brands. Game Press is quite popular. Partner Page is currently being used by Microsoft to run their PC Game Pass partner program. Keymailer is quite well known. We've got a bunch of platforms integrate and do stuff. That's what we do. I'm going to talk generally about game marketing. I've got about 24 slides in 15 minutes, so this is not a deep dive. Each slide's got about 3 words on it, right? So I'm just going to whistle stop tour across because you'll see. Was that red flag? I'm telling you up front, right? You'll see a few words there. It's as much to remind me what to say as to who's a game dev or a studio or just trying to see if everyone's just building. I'm good, what's excellent. Worry if everyone's going to be building like engines rather than actually making games. So let me most people think, unless you are a marketer, you're all here to make games, right? To entertain people, do cool new games. Marketing the game is the least interesting bit. It's the horrible bit, get the commercial. No one wants to do it. It's the worst bit ever. So, marketing your game is fun, is what we did say. It's not actually fun, but if you get involved, with communities, with press, with influencers, with creators, it's a lot more fun than you think it might be. Key thing is that one. There we go. Don't leave it too late. That's the biggest issue. So we have 50 sign-ups per week of indies and solos and publishers and all that stuff. We do an awful lot of marketing out. We get a ton of sign-ups all the time. A massive fraction of them are leaving it for the last month to really get engaged. I mean, lots of them have done stuff before, but they might leave last minute to go, how do we get influencers involved? Should we talk to the press now? They're like, yes, why not? But you could have started ages ago. It's really painful if you start late. So get through the slides fast. Marketing should begin when dev begins, pretty much, or at least when you've got the first working prototype. You want to get the alpha build out in a playtest, right? So if you don't put the core mechanics in front of testers to find out whether your cool idea is really fun to everyone else who wants to play it, what if it's not? You're going to waste the next 2 years producing something no one wants to buy. When you get out and start playtesting, you can work with just gamers, regular gamers, people who are committed, interested, recruit them, lots of ways to recruit testers. But recruiting creators is a great thing to do. There's literally hundreds of thousands of creators out there who sub-influencers, right? Audiences of maybe 50 or 100 followers, constantly producing content, uploading, all sorts of stuff. They love playing games, they'll give you feedback, but they'll also seed the engines, they'll seed YouTube, tags about your game, they'll seed Twitch, they'll make sure you've got a Twitch category, they'll put content out there. If anyone discovers your game through another route and goes to Twitch to find out, or TikTok, they're going to find some content, right? So your first playtest with your alpha, don't worry about it, get it out there. People know it's an alpha, they know it's the beginning, they'll be supportive. But you could not only get some content to produce, which is marketing, but you start recruiting playtesters. They are your community, right? The first playtesters who love your game want to be there for the whole journey. They're not just community, they're not just playtesters, they're your marketing. They're the first wishlist entrants. Pretty much my whole talk is just that, getting published. We think about community, we think about social media, but they're marketing, right? Of course community is community. You don't think about your community as people who are trying to sell towards, the people who are working with you and coming along for the journey. But they are going to buy the game, they're going to talk to their friends about it. And socials, this is just ways to get content out there. It's all marketing, playtesting is marketing, it's community, it's testing, it's all the same. Hopefully you playtest regularly. If you're playtesting regularly, for a start you're building passion amongst the community you're playing with, but also you're recruiting more and more each time. You don't have to say we're marketing, just spend on marketing. Use your playtest budget for recruiting. Get in early with the press. Now, you don't need a PR agency. Any PR agencies here, you guys do great work, you have great relationships, but you don't need a PR agency to get involved with the press. First thing to do, start super early, start super local. You probably went to college with someone who's now a journalist. They might be working at the FT, maybe it's the wrong place to go to. Maybe they work at the Bristol Live, Bristol Post. It's okay. Use your local contacts, get someone to write a review, get something out there, get some quotes. Quotes on your next piece of marketing is great. You don't have to put Bristol Live says, you can just put a big thing saying this game has a fabulous mechanic, it's a mashup of Minecraft and then it's still live, it doesn't matter, is it? To quote that's what I'm doing. Early access. Early access, of course, you should all be doing early access. And most people don't understand it, I'm sure you guys all do. Get some money in before the game's finished, make sure people are buying it. But it's a marketing heartbeat. Right? Announcing to the press you've gone into early access is a reason to talk, it's a reason to get out there. Every dev heartbeat that you go out and update your early access is a marketing heartbeat, it's all the same. What more with press? Really early on, send press releases. There are press release services which will cost you $100 and you can send out to 10,000 press outlets. They'll mostly be nothing to do with gaming, and mostly it'll fall on deaf ears. But one of your objectives is to raise awareness, so that when someone hears about your game 2 or 3 months later or 6 months later, they'll say, oh yeah, I heard about that, maybe. It's so cheap that you should do it. And the fact is that anyone picks it up 6, 9, 12 months before launch, they're the press for you, right? They picked up your game, stick with them, keep on making content, treat them as partners. Super easy, super cheap. You get really influencers, right? Everyone needs influencers. Pretty much we all know they drive discovery. How you get them? Oh, this is the That's how do you get influencers? I mean, everyone does this. It kind of looks obvious. You find a game that's like yours, that's being played a lot, find the Twitch category, see who's playing it most, drop them a DM, find their emails, and all that. Pretty easy to do, enormously dispiriting and heartbreaking because you get so few responses. On the other hand, if you've got some time for a solo dev, you work evenings and weekends, all it takes is one influencer to pick it up and play the game. You can suddenly get 1,000 sales if you're in early access. Going to get hundreds and hundreds of engagement with you is a lot harder. I mean, you pretty much have to go to a platform these days. We have one, there's lots of people. What do you do with influencers? FOMO. Get them early access, treat them as they're royalty, right, in a lot of cases, and they want to get stuff early, they want to get it uniquely exclusive. Don't do a demo coming up for Steam and then give it to influencers as well. Do a create a preview 2 weeks early. Give the influencers early access to it, let them play it first, drive people into the Steam first, use influencers the right way. Try making them outreach and get help. I mean, you pretty much, platforms like ours and the competitors, they're really cheap compared to hiring an agency. And you can get, even tiny indies will get 50 influencers playing their game after a month's campaign. We see studio games get 1,000 influencers involved. We did one last quarter on our platform which had 12,000 influencers simultaneously engaged in the game. No one was paid, it was all organic content pre-release. It's a AAA game, but still, you can get massive numbers, they're great to do. And again, if you get started reasonably early, so it's not all left for the last minute, you start working out who likes you, who's engaged, who's involved, put them into a partner program, drip feed them with content all the time, treat them well. Press is a bit different. You might want to try and get exclusive with press if you're liking a bigger game, get exclusive, constant feedback, this, that, that. With influencers, you get 50, 60, 70, maybe, we've got a partner program live with the client at the moment, it's got 300 partners in the first month, doing really well. They're all committing to regularly produce content in return for regular kind of engagement with the developer and content. But they are gold dust, people are talking. Then think about it, creators love to have content regularly on their channels. It's quite nerve-wracking being an influencer, unless you're a Roblox channel, which you're doing Roblox every day. If you're a variety streamer, you're doing a lot of different stuff. Getting all that content in it, reliably playing and learning it content, is quite tricky. Partner programs where they get regularly fed stuff gives you a constant feed of new content, so the creator likes it, you like it, the audience likes it. Great way to keep people engaged. Steam. Don't forget the events, right? We find people often forgetting the events, like there's a Tower Defense coming up shortly, there's industry playability coming up in a month or something. It's easy to find what the events are, it's not hard. Make sure you get logged in for them. Don't forget you get one Next Fest entry. Again, you see loads of people who do a Next Fest early on, too early. Not everything should be done early. Some things do early, not everything early. Maybe Next Fest entry to a bit later, it's a really big Steam event. Run to launch, I'm almost done. 3 months, set aside 3 months. Mainly, and let's think about it. We normally try and do organic. You will find publishers out there who do organic the whole way through and create content. So whether it's press, influencers, whatever it's partners, existing community. Not everyone can manage doing organically all the way, but some people have very little budget, and you might just blow it on an agency or a platform in 3 months or 6 months or some ads or something. But you can end organic if you plan it well. Let's think about this. So in the lead up to the last 3 months, basically start the press. The press has a slower heart. You've got to get, you might contact journalists, but they're not going to write the article. You've got to get the editor to sign off on the budget to write it and all that sort of stuff. There's a schedule, there's an agenda to write stuff. So getting, you might have done press releases 6 months before launch, 9 months before launch, but you want to get a full blast going on. Send out 1,000 keys. I mean, you can get 2,500 keys off Steam for an indie title. Send out 1,000 to press. We have a press platform, there are other press platforms out there, but sending out keys, most press, if they're not interested, will just return the key unused. You have not wasted all those keys. You're lucky if you get a 10-to-1 ratio, like 1 to 1 to 10, press picking up and playing the game. If you send out 1,000 keys to it, we have 1,250 press in our network with 2.5 billion readers. If you get even 100 of them playing the game, you're going to get 10, 15 million viewers looking at your game. And you're not paying anyone for this stuff. But do that 3 months before launch, in the 3rd month before launch. Start getting involved with creators maybe the 2nd month before launch. So this is people with small audiences. Get them seeding social media with content about your game. Start learning what it's like to work with a creator, the feedback you get, what they expect to hear from your communications and so on. You're not going to blow it if you've got someone with 50 followers and you get it slightly wrong, they're not going to be too upset with you. Save all your collateral for the last month probably, then start spending some serious budget on promoting your game to influencers. And that means, whether it's an agency that's got a lot of communication channels open, or a platform where they can do newsletters and social media, animations, and infographics and display ads, all sorts of stuff to get the influencers in, get thousands of people involved in your game. And that was it, basically. If you're lucky, you can get 10 million views from influencers, 10 million views from press. You can absolutely whack a game out there at launch time and really, really hammer it. And think maybe I'll take the revenue from launch, I'll repurpose that for paid marketing afterwards, which is a great way to do it without spending all your budget. And the other thing about doing the organic piece early is you get to see what worked and what didn't. And then you can save your budget for what you might have a gap. You might do really bad in Italy and Spain for some reason, it's just not working with your stuff. And so you might have to go and pay in those regions. You might find French-speaking Canada doesn't like your stuff for some reason. Start doing paid content there. Engage with someone who can give you some feedback. So PPC, pay-per-click, enormously popular and probably the only way people are marketing mobile games pretty much at the moment. So that's paid search, display ads, Facebook network, Twitter network, all that sort of stuff. You can do a pilot campaign yourself. You learn how to use these platforms, maybe not the best, and get a freelance, pay them 500 quid to do 2 or 3 days, drop 500 quid budget down, see if it works. Most games don't work from PPC. Most PC and console games just don't work. It's just another game. You see a lot of stuff. You pay money for this kind of thing. If you've got a some unique bit of game, so we've got a client at the moment we're helping with PPC pilot, and it's a kind of it's an FPS, first-person shooter, but for younger people. Not for toddlers, right? But for younger people. So it's not got red blood. It's got some nursery stuff like that, and it's a unique selling point, right? So if you've got parents looking at their children, you can't play Fortnite. You're not old enough. Is there something a bit like Fortnite that you can play when you're 10? We've got a client with a game like that. So paid search for 10-year-old whatever FPS, you might pick people up. And the good thing about PPC, it's super low budgets to start with. If it works, turn it up to 11, because for every dollar you put in, you're making $2 back or more. You know what it's costing. Nothing's uncertain. It's performance marketing. Sponsorship, influencers need to be paid, right? So don't do it from the beginning. If you can give back, right? Fill in demographic gaps by paying for it's just raise awareness of your games and so on. But you don't have to go out and do super high impact, like $20,000 single person influencer marketing. Don't forget the biggest influencers tend to be entertainers rather than gamers. So if you do break $20,000 or even $200,000 on big influencers, you may get tons of views, you may get incredibly low conversion rates. It's a lot better often to go to smaller creators with committed audiences who know what their audience want to see. Hire 100 $500 each rather than a couple of times, and you can get platforms. We have one others have reverse auctions. You say, here's a thing, bid, and people will bid low to try and get you a campaign. You get a great return on investment, everyone's getting paid, everyone's bidding low what they want, and events. Events are really tough, you can't control when they happen, they're very expensive to go to, but you can have enormously good success at events. So some people will focus all their budget on an event. They go to South by Southwest, whatever it is. There's tons of journalists, there's people looking around for great content. So it's a whole different approach. I'm not going to do it today. Things cost, and they're a bit risky. So we generally don't advise them unless you can. How do you do all of this stuff? If you don't have time, do it DIY. If you've got some budget, use the platforms. If you've got more budget, use the agencies. Most people do a mixture of all of the above. That's it. Shameless plug. These are some of our platforms. We do a bunch of stuff for press and influencers, whether it's short-term, long-term, paying, That was me. We are 4 billion reach. It's almost 5 billion at the moment. 5-star, 3 continents. We speak all languages from west to east. And we need to help more us if you want to be game. No one.
Any questions?
Yeah, thanks for the talk. Pretty much addressed every question our studio had internally, which is really interesting and is useful. One thing that we had is a kind of a discussion point about early access, and early on you mentioned do early access, but one of the people in our discussion said that early access was game development on hard mode. So I was wondering if you had any perspective on when to not do early access for a marketing reason, or
I'm not an expert at this bit.
Okay.
The thing that's obvious, I think, is if you have a game where you are adding content quite a lot. So we've got a client manager, a puzzler, and he's come to us to launch it, but it's now 10% complete. And we said to him, if you'd come, so you build all the infrastructure, the levels, all that kind of stuff, and now you're just adding lots of puzzles in, which is taking a long time. You could have launched it in early access with half as many puzzles. Just tell them there's twice as many coming in 6 months' time, and start monetizing way early. That's an obvious win. I'm not sure which of the offers fails, actually. I'm not sure. I can't see why there'd be obvious fails. I think generally that's a fabulous thing Steve did. I'm not sure it's a great answer.
Okay, no, thanks for
Thanks for the talk. How has your business changed on mobile post IDFA?
Post.
IDFA? You know, like the Apple change to
Yes. We don't do an awful lot of mobile. We haven't done historically because influencers tend to be involved with like long, deep content and so on. And there's far fewer press outlets that work around mobile. That said, we're seeing it partly because of the thing that's driving it mainly is partly Facebook was enormously useful and Facebook has kind of gone away in a big way. So that was a big ad network. And secondly, the whole thing with third-party cookies going away. So it was very convenient to track conversions. Facebook Pixel can track conversions on App Store and Play Store. And it's becoming increasingly hard to do it. And you're left with solutions like AppsFlyer, great unicorn, doing a really good job, quite expensive to implement, building the game and so on, stochastic conversion tracking. And that's quite a lot of commitment for something that's quite hard to guarantee the output for. So I'm not saying we've got any kind of silver bullet for mobile, but what we do is we, relatively recently, we spent a lot of time identifying thousands of influencers who play a lot of mobile games to make sure we can focus on those. And it's quite hard, we think, with the problems around the limited number of promo codes you can get at keys, promo codes that so Apple limited to 100 codes per quarter for, let's say you've got free to play and you have the Keymailer, it's 100. It's very few people to give the code to, expect maybe 60% of them to produce content. It's not really much, you can't go very far. Google has done an awful lot more. I think the other thing is, because it's such a prevalence of free to play, the traditional, the conventional approach for doing it on with premium games on PC and console, give a $50, $20 game to someone and they tend to be motivated to give it a crack. But if the game's $4.99 or something, or it's a $4 per month season pass, or whatever you call it, it's much less attractive. And running a campaign, distribute those every month manually is heartbreaking. So it's one of the reasons we built our own partner program stuff, was so working with the longer engagement with mobile games, quite casual for a long time and so on. So getting a partner program where there's just continuous access to the premium content and game currency is certainly starting to show. It's not so much, it's a very small fraction of our business still, but it's one that obviously is a huge revenue globally, and we're trying to focus it, but it's quite hard. I'm not sure that answers the exact need, but it's still
yeah, no, that's cool. So do you work directly, do you advise directly on UX or anything like that, or is it more just...
we wouldn't use those terms normally because we mostly come from PC and console, but we're not used to that. But yes, because that's what we're doing. We don't currently, we've got some plans that are currently, we've got a patent that we haven't submitted yet, so I can't talk about, to do with trying to get much better. There's some newer doors open, so with stuff with Apple in Europe, for example, and the ability to sideload in Europe and so on, is opening opportunities to work with games differently on Apple. Android, obviously, there's things like the Amazon App Store, which nobody uses if you've got an Amazon device, but the fact is you can just install the Amazon App Store on an Android phone and you've got a separate way of getting games and so on. So there's other options for getting mobile discovery and mobile games out there without the restrictions of the dominant walled gardens. So we just think there's a lot of play to be done there.
Thank you so much. If you've got any more questions, then you want to be around
Oh, I have one, Jimmy. What's the I in partner stands for?
Well, buying that domain, partner.com, is like $16 million. Buying partner.
The I in partner in something.
Maybe.
That's right.
We were just like, there's
It must be from a marketing point of view. What's the I in partner?
Patreon is like, Patreon is Patreon with an E in it, isn't it? So we're partners. We were game marketing partners.
It's like French.
Yeah, thank you.